Hello, everybody. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Become a channel member where you'll get access to all archive videos. Support independent media. Super Chat's enabled. Super thanks for the replay gang. Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, Dr. Thunder Music, all one word. Spell out the word doctor. If you'd like to feed me sandwiches, then please hit the Cash App Sandwich Gang. I'm Dr. Thunder. This is Two Dads React. And that's my collaboration with Tony from God Rules. And we're two dads. We're reacting to the state of the world. We're lame-o dads, you know. We do dad stuff. And we're concerned about the kinds of things that our kids potentially would be subjected to. We tend to view things from a Christian worldview, and it's going to be a good show. Today's show, Evil Abounds and the End Draws Nigh. Evil abounds and the end draws nigh. So much stuff going on. Make sure you get your tinfoil hat out. We always have our tinfoil hats close. And we have a spicy show. It's spicy, but you know, we're talking about stuff that is critically important and maybe some stuff that you don't know that's happening in the world right now, and some of the stuff that is being normalized, not just in schools, but stuff that's being normalized in churches. Oh my goodness. And if this stuff is being normalized in the church, then we have no chance. We have no chance. Send the asteroid. Send the asteroid. Wormwood or whatever. Anyhow, we're going to have a good show, quite entertaining, great conversation, and a number of clips and articles that we'll be pulling up to contextualize these topics. But evil abounds and the end draws nigh. Evil abounds and the end draws nigh. And I just realized that I did not put, let's see here. Let's see if I can find a place to put this. Okay, and then I need to do that. Okay, so then that should do the trick. And then put it there too. Let's see what happens. All right. Evil abounds and the end draws nigh. Two dads react. Let's go. Warning: some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised. What's happening?
Hey man, we skipped Thanksgiving, right? So we're back.
Yeah, we skipped Thanksgiving. I guess that's okay. I'll give you a pass.
Yeah.
So, but how was your Thanksgiving weekend and travel and everything?
Oh, it was not bad. It was good. Saw family, all that kind of stuff, you know. Just ate some good food, went back home, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, my
no winter storms, which is good.
It seems like the last 2 or 3 years in a row, my wife has been sick around Thanksgiving. And what that has translated into is she's stayed home. You know?
Oh, that's too bad.
Yeah, that sucks. Because but we do this thing that's like after we do this thing like after Thanksgiving. It's like the Saturday after Thanksgiving. But yeah, but you know, my wife she's on the mend. She's starting to feel better and everything. Some kind of cold bug or something just ripped through our house like crazy. But anyhow, we're doing all right now. And this week I'm playing a holiday show. And I've got a lot of Christmas concerts and things over the next couple weeks and things. So that's kind of what it is. And I don't know, maybe it's a little bit of a respite between all of this sort of debauchery and stuff that's going on in the world.
Yeah.
A few days of more family, less sort of, you know, attempting to propagandize the kids and normalize all kind of goofy stuff. But guess what? I've got all kinds of stuff to make up for lost time. Check it out. We'll start with this one.
Okay.
And okay, let's take a listen to this. And you tell me if you detect anything wrong with this.
God-loving music. Give it up again for, what's your name?
Renita,
y'all. Yes.
Okay, so this is actually a joke. This is a joke. This is actually part of some musical or something. And now the reason I'm playing this is actually frequently played on a content creator's site, a YouTube channel named Minister Jap, and I interviewed him on my Conversations with Dr. Thunder series. And now his show is really spicy and not for the faint of heart. But he has all kinds of like ratchet stuff on his show just to basically show what's actually happening. And this is one of the clips that he frequently plays. But this is not actually real, right? It's not real life. However, this is real life. And this is real life. This is at let's see here. Let me get it to the right starting point. There we go. This is at a mega church called Church by the Glades. And I don't know if you know about this mega church, but they thought that this was appropriate for a church service. And this happened recently. It was around Halloween. They thought that, hey, you know, we're going to do a sort of, you know, kind of a dark, whatever. I don't know what the deal is, but here we go. Let's play this.
in a church by the Glades.
I don't even know what to say.
You worshipped so well.
Y'all did.
It sounded beautiful. Let me make a couple introductions here. My name is Morticia Adams. And this is my Uncle Fester.
No.
Come join the dysfunctional family. Hi, Cousin Ed. Cousin Ed, let me ask you, is that a keratin treatment?
Rocket baby, Bobby Bumble. if you're a guest, and you're confused, welcome to the weirdest weekend of the year at CBG. I acknowledge, in fact, it's a little bit out of the norm, a little different, but we're having a little fun. We embrace the fun and the spooky of this season, and I'm going to tell you why in a few moments if you're confused and wonder why. But I want to do a little study with you today, and of course, you picked up on the theme this year. It's an homage to the Addams Family. Anybody old enough you remember the Addams Family?
Okay, there you go.
Addams Family.
This is a mega church. This is what is considered edgy, relevant, appropriate, taking advantage of the season because you want to market and you're trying to get new people in the building.
Yeah, I've seen a few of these. Like, there's like a weird Hillsong Easter service. Like if you do, and actually it's like not even just last year. It's like, I saw one with a black lady that was on the cross. I did a video earlier this year about that. And it was at some weird mega church. I think it might've been Hillsong. And there's like other ones too. There's like a bunch of these weird, they'll do like a passion play and it looks like it's like a rock concert or something, it's just like, what is going on here? And this one's Addams Family, which is really weird. I mean, that's not exactly what you would call a Christian type of thing either.
It's just totally ridiculous.
That actually sounds a little better. Actually, it sounds a little better than like some of the other ones I've seen, but it's still bad.
Yeah, it's just it's incredible. So I got one more like this that is gonna, I don't know, it's terrible. But before I do that, 56 people watching, only 12 likes. Only 12 likes. Please like the video. That's the single most important thing to do if you're trying to support the show and you want to get it to more folks. You got to like the video. Also consider sharing the video. Those are the two most important things to do: liking and sharing. Any support is, of course, very much appreciated. If you want the message to be proliferated, you got to do your part. All right, so this is. Here's another one, and this is again. Here we go. This is modern church. Here we go. Let's take a listen.
Oh boy, we got to watch out for this.
I don't know what your vision of the church is, but we have decided that no matter your race, your age, your gender, no matter who you love, you are the thing that God had in mind when she looked out over the world and said, it is good. So we don't do Frozen Chosen here. This is not your grandma's church. Sing as loud as you can. Dance, clap, love, live, understand this worship. You are welcome here.
Now that you're out of my life, I'm so much better. Thought that I'll be weak without you, but I'm stronger. Thought that I'll be broke without you, but I'm richer. Thought that I'll be sad without you, I'll have holler.
There's a lot of things about this that are super concerning to me. Number one, God is a he. He's a father. He never says anywhere in scripture that he's a she. And number two, ultimately what we're seeing here is people creating God in their own image when God created us in his image. If you think it's time for us to get back to the word of God, type amen in the comments.
Yeah, that one's a little concerning for sure. I mean, honestly, obviously it's called the Father. God the Father is obviously the head of the Godhead too. So obviously he would, but it has to do with our culture, it's all about girl, of course, power and things like that these days. Yeah, I mean, look at this picture right here. I remember this was like 7 years ago. I remember covering multiple services over the years where it just really looks strange. Like, some saying there's like using devil signs or something. You have this one right here. I haven't even watched this, honestly. Well, it's got an advertisement, of course. Let's see here, one sec. And actually, maybe I should send you something in the comments because you can play it better anyways.
Sure.
Let's see, what do we got here? Yeah, because I didn't have any of these open, but it is kind of amazing. So, wow, what is this? I've seen many of these. Oh, that is really strange looking. Let me send this one to you, but I was actually going to show something else. I'll just send that to your comments on the comment there in the guest chat. And I'm going to show something else. I'm going to show this. This has to do with a Cosmopolitan magazine, which is the #1 women's magazine in America. And they recently had an article in it about how they're doing satanic, of course, services for women. And when I say that, I'm talking about a clinic, where they delete, babies, things like that. But it's actually run by Satanists. And they're actually doing like religious rituals in the process while doing it. So this is in the biggest women's magazine in America, and they're putting it out front and center like this is, this is the kind of thing we're seeing now, the kind of darkness that we're seeing just blatantly put in front of our faces now. And obviously, I think God is not turning a blind eye to this. You know what I mean?
Not likely.
I think some big things are going to be happening in the next year. Honestly, so hopefully some cleaning up going on. This is what I'm thinking. Some cleaning up needs to be done here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't want to say too many words because of where we're at. I don't want to say the wrong words. Remember what happened that one time?
Oh yeah, right.
You remember that, right?
In case people don't know what we're talking about, what was it, like 3 weeks ago? 3 weeks ago, we had a really, really good stream, spicy stream. Didn't do anything wrong, didn't say anything, and then YouTube just took it down and deleted the video. And just, and they claimed that we were saying something was happening currently that was from something from the past, and that was the reason that they pulled it down. So
yeah.
Yeah,
but we'll talk about this later. I just put this on the screen, but we'll talk about that later.
Okay, so what, you want me to play
25 governors. Yeah, real quick, I would say 25 governors just signed something into, of course, law, and it's going to affect everybody. It's like half the country. So we'll talk about that later, though. But you can go ahead and you got something, I'm assuming, hopefully.
Yeah. I can do here. Hold up here. I can do this. Wait a minute. I gotta fix this. Hold up. It's gotta be. There we go. And audio's activated. Okay.
Oh yeah, that's the one.
That's not the one?
No, that's the video. I was looking at sections. I didn't watch it at all, so I don't know what section.
I've just woken up and start now. Oh dear, what are they going to do this year?
Online church. It's going to be very different tonight. Easter Sunday night, Resurrection Sunday evening, and wherever you guys are, maybe it's not evening where you are around the globe, but I think
this is Brian Houston.
Presentation that is going to be the main.
He's a co-founder of Hillsong with his wife, Bobby. His father, Frank Houston, he kind of started it all off with Hills Christian Life Centre before it became Hillsong. And he's right. And some woman commenting on my previous videos, she claims that Hillsong is a witch's coven. So, whoa, okay. And that they've been gathering kids for basically. So, what are these churches doing?
I was going to just look at
that
the
won't
footage,
surprise me actually with everything else.
Is that good, or where you want me to go to?
Like, I think it's farther ahead. It shows like part of the service, and it looks really strange. It's like halfway through it or something. He's just talking like while he's talking or something.
Oh,
yeah, somewhere in here. Yeah, what is this?
Okay, here we go.
Oh, I can see it. They got the snake in it again like last year.
Okay, here we go.
They're going to do it again. Look.
Snake?
felt the hottest flames of battle, pulsing, pushing, burning through veins. I have skewered flesh of metal, pierced life from limb.
Yeah, that's just theatrical. That's fine, I guess.
The place of the skull is ready. The place where flesh is stripped from bone, and humanity is stripped from us all. I have not given it a second thought until this day, until this breath, until this hour.
Can't you see that? Yeah.
Okay, okay, here we go.
Oh, it's like
there you go.
Okay.
Wow. They're using the same music from the 2016 one I exposed.
It's not even a cross, it's a metal thing. Oh, it's got a cross on it too. Hey, can you pause really quick?
Sure.
The thing that's really weird about it is this Hillsong Church on the most recent year had a woman on the cross, and it was a black woman.
Yeah.
And you couldn't really tell at first because they had all these singers in front of it, but then there's like a couple spots where it kind of opens up and you can see what's behind, and you see a woman on a cross. So like it's like every year they like make it different, and it's like some modernized, it looks like some weird concert you would see at like the Grammy Awards or something, you know what I mean? It doesn't look normal. And yeah, I did the one earlier this year on the woman on the, and I actually showed the picture. I unfortunately I don't have the video up anymore. I'd have to go look it up, and it would take me a minute. But what do you think, man? It's just kind of weird.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not necessarily opposed to, like, you know, theatrical representations of things. That's not a bad thing. I don't know that necessarily the church is a place for that. I mean, you know, necessarily. It seems like there's more specific things that should be happening at a church than that. But I know that a lot of Protestant churches have like a tradition of these like Easter plays and stuff like this. And so I'm not necessarily opposed to that outright. It's just, you know, at some point you're just kind of like, what really is the point?
I think I found it.
And let me tell you, why don't you send me the link?
Yeah, I'll send it to you. I found it, man. I found the thing. I'll send it to you. This is actually a different church. It's called Michael Todd. He had an Easter.
Oh yeah. I know about Michael Todd. You want to talk about some debaucherous stuff? Yeah, I know about his stuff. Hold up here.
It looks like
trying to stop this thing.
Oh no, this is a different. That's a different one. That's not the one I was thinking about either. I've done so many videos on this stuff. It's just like I'm trying to find the link to the original, the one where it shows the lady on the cross. It's just really messed up, man. But yeah, it's like every year they're like trying to outdo the last year, and it's like it's just really weird because a lot of these churches are not teaching the Bible. Yeah, you probably.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah, I know about
you
this.
Probably showed this before, didn't you?
I don't have. Okay, hold up here. I got some stuff that will show. I have some stuff that will show where a lot of this. You see this look that these girls have. You know, like with the multicolor weave, like the red weave. You know, and it's like the form-fitting clothes and stuff like this, leather pants.
She gotta have a fatty. Hey, take her some eggs. Yeah. Look back at it. What is she doing?
Friends, I don't have a fatty.
They're talking. Okay, right? I don't know if people know what they're talking about. They're talking about the shape of their posterior.
Girl, we keep telling you it's okay. Your little booty matter too, friend.
Y'all know they don't be discriminating.
Okay.
Okay, so this is at a church. This is supposed to be like appropriate, but let me show you something though. Let me go over to here. I got something that we can let's see. Here we go.
I
now
think I found the video, but go ahead. You show yourself in it. Yeah, this was it.
I'm going to show you something. This is really, really disgusting. What I'm about to show you, what she's talking about, is very graphic. It's gross. She's not using any profanity, but it's really gross. Okay, so here we go. Just take a listen. Here we go.
I got a lip gloss brand, and the names for my lip gloss is something that nobody would have ever thought of. I got one called Nut, and it's the color of some nut. I got one called Gonorrhea. It's green like gonorrhea. I got one called Yellow Discharge, like how girls be having yellow discharge. Booty hole pink, booty hole brown, coochie juice. And coochie juice is clear with silver glitter. It's cute, like the cute, and it smells good. And it's so, like, you know, people gonna talk but other people was like, you is a marketing genius, because the sold so fast. And it smelled good too. I be thinking of all out the box. It's not even on purpose. It's just like my brain helped me think outside the box to do some crazy shit.
Okay, now I'm gonna show you how much worse this gets. Okay, this is the rapper, Sexy Red, and Sexy Red has a song out right now that's called Pound Town. Okay. Now, Pound Town. Let me read some of the. I'll try to read some of the lyrics. I don't know how much of the lyrics I can actually read because it's so graphic. But just to give you an idea. Okay. I'm out of town, thuggin' with my rounds. My I can't even say that word. Pink, my I can't say that here. I can't say that either. Brown, where the I can't say that. I'm looking for the hose. Quit playing. Come. I can't even say that.
No, you could say
basically
it if you were
come
her
suck
and you're
my
making a
toes.
video.
Right. All right. So my point is,
you could say it if you were her singing the song and you're on YouTube. You can get like 5 billion views saying it, of course.
That's
but if
right.
you're saying it like you and I are saying it, you can't say it then.
That's right.
But yeah,
Pound Town. Just left Pound Town. Okay, so this is totally disgusting. It's super graphic. It's way over the top. It's the most lewd, gross kind of talking. It's the lowest common denominator stuff. Now, what I want you to watch now,
and it's like nonstop.
This is a kid that's in pre-K. This kid is in pre-K. This is a little girl in pre-K. Okay? Now, listen.
You're trying to see me, you're trying to see me, you're trying to say what's up. Go. Pound town, going downtown. Ooh, all right.
So, this kid's parents has them listening to this song, Pound Town. So that's why these kids who are being filmed by their teacher, listen, they're being filmed by their teacher, and then this is being put up on social media. Okay?
This woman, the teacher that posted this video, said that she got permission from the parents to post these kids on, her video or whatever. But I don't have their permission, so I didn't feel comfortable posting their faces, so I went ahead and blurred them out. But I want to talk about music for a second, right? Obviously, music is special for everybody. Everybody has their own flavor. When I was young, one of the things I started to notice from hip-hop culture was that it was starting to influence the people around me. when I went to school as a little kid.
Which I thought was kind of an interesting choice.
One year, we playing with G.I. Joes and stuff. The next year, a lot of the kids I went to school with were like all of a sudden thugged out, sagging their pants and doing just the most crazy shit that had nothing to do with what we were doing there at the time. But the reason they were doing that is because what they were doing was they were mimicking what they were seeing on TV. Chris Crosshead came out shortly after this.
Okay, so he's talking about the impact of a lot of this music and how it's influencing behaviors and everything else. And now we got little kids, pre-K kids that know the lyrics to Pound Town, which is terrible, disgusting, despicable, and all of that.
Yeah, I would say so.
So let's pause. So let's pause that, and we'll go back to you. Oh, I'm sorry. We'll go back to this thing.
I just sent you the link, man.
Show.
You just click on that link and then just press play, and then you'll see the woman on the cross.
Here we go.
Really tied in, and I mean, tied into like a blasphemous image. I don't think they're intentionally doing that, but you have these dancing demons, you have this song and performance happening, and then you have a woman crucified, which I thought was kind of an interesting choice.
It's like a church, man.
Yeah.
And there's a lot more too. There's like a weird Last Supper on it. It just looks really weird. Reminded me of that Madonna Last Supper, which is really messed up. But these are
same
in
kind of thing here.
This is in church, man. Like had a woman on the cross, and that was that Transformation Church that you're talking about, which is not a Hillsong though. I don't think. I don't know what Transformation. But all these mega churches are doing weird stuff like this now. They're not even teaching the Bible. They're literally just making stuff up and trying to entertain people, trying to be like the world. It seems like for the most part. And it's really getting kind of beyond weird at this point. I mean, it's like pretty much Babylon, just like it says on the title of the video. It is Babylon.
Yeah, this is that's crazy stuff. And
then a lot of these guys get caught in scandals too. And you know how you said, one of those videos was talking about this is actually a witch coven and stuff like that. Because I actually think that's what happens is they get some of these people that are clearly not Christians leading these churches. Maybe they're like warlocks or whatever they are, and they're purposely doing this stuff. They're purposely trying to lead people astray and everything. That's kind of how I see it.
All right. Let's see what we get. Okay. And here we go. Now another one of these songs, and let me find this real quick. And let's see here. Let's go here. Another one of these songs by the same artist. It's called Ski Yee. Okay. Now, I'm going to try to read a couple of the lyrics just so you have an idea of what we're talking about. If you see me and you trying to see what's up, ski ye. He wanna F with me, then I'ma have him stuck. In other words, have him killed. Ski ye. Be looking bad and got a stupid butt. Ski ye. Jewelry on your wrist. F it. Hold it up. Ski ye. When I holler ski ye, that means pull up, ski ye, cars 75, and they fast as F. Ski ye, I'm looking good when I'm hopping out that truck, ski ye. Where the hood ninjas at that get them bucks, ski ye. Now, and of course, it gets worse and worse and more explicit and like this. Now, so I want you to consider that and then ponder a teacher using this song and being proud of her students using this song. Here we go.
When you see Miss Kai, you gotta say what's up. Hey, wanna be on my roster, but it's my love. Hey, we be living, learning, and we turn it up. Hey, work to your desk, hold it up. Hey, when I holler Miss Kai, that me turn up. Hey, read it every day to get that scores up. Hey, on the way to success, it ain't no love. Hey, Thomas K, so it's up, then it's up. Hey.
That's great. That's horrible, man. What the heck? That's
Okay.
supposed to be a school. What in the world, man?
Yeah, this stuff is
Yeah, so there's a
like,
lot of this going on.
yeah, it's incredibly terrible. It's beyond. It's just such a low. I mean, it's just terrible. I don't know what else to say. It's really bad. Let's see what
Yeah,
else.
okay, I
What else
wanted
you
to
got
get
for
into
us, man?
something. Okay, so I was going to talk about the 25 governors and what they recently signed into law.
Yeah.
So basically, what's going on right here, we have Governor Whitmer of Michigan. Of course, you probably remember her because we lived in Michigan at one time when we were growing up. Okay, so they're basically all signing this legislation to basically have 100% clean energy by 2040. And it doesn't mean what it sounds like. Okay. It sounds like, oh, we're going to save the planet or something, right? But actually, when you look into it, they're talking about essentially making it to where you can't even buy or use a car. Like they're talking about reducing, this is the things they're pledging to. They're pledging to reduce the amount of steel used, reduce the amount of cars owned, reduce the amount of food you eat. Like, let me show you this. They want you to eat 0 kilograms of meat by 2030, 0 dairy. So if you can even imagine that, what would you eat? Like bread without meat on it or something? You know what I mean? Like no sandwich. So they actually want you to literally eat no bread or no dairy, no meat. They want you to own no cars. And this is stuff that are all signing on to all these cities. And it's not just cities, it's states. So we have governors from 25 states signing on to some of this stuff already. That's half of America signing on to pledging to try to get people to stop owning cars, pledging to stop people from eating meat and stuff like this, pledging to get rid of things that you use every day. And they say this is to save the planet. Okay, if you can even believe that, obviously it doesn't make any sense. This doesn't save the planet because, how does it save your planet to not eat meat? Obviously, the animals are what you're trying to save, supposedly, but actually they're trying to get rid of these animals as well. That's another thing that they're doing, like getting rid of cows. Like they actually killed off a ton of cows in Europe to save the planet. Now they're like cutting trees down. That's another thing they're doing to save the planet. I had that open. I don't know where I put that. I'll have to just open a new window. Okay, so they're trying to cut down trees to save the planet. That's another one. They're trying to do a number of things. Here we go. Cut down trees to save the planet. Dim the sun to save the planet. So lower the amount of radiation and sunlight we have. Cut down trees and bury them. This is something they're actually already doing. You can actually find articles on this. Let me show you. Chop down trees to save the planet. Maybe not as crazy as it sounds. That's what this article says here. Okay. But so tell me, does it sound like it's saving the planet if they're trying to get rid of the sun, trying to get rid of trees, trying to get rid of animals, and make it so you can't eat meat, can't own a car, and can't afford anything? Does that sound like they're saving the planet? Oh my goodness, so funny, dude. But what's really interesting, one of the things I realized is that the reason why they stopped saying global warming, I think I figured out why they stopped saying that, and they started just saying climate change, is because there was an actual NASA study that came out that showed that when you have more green, more plant life, like they had basically a study from the 1980s and a study today, I think it was like 2012 or something, and they compared it, and it's greener now. It's greener on the planet, but there's actually less heat, so it's not warming the planet. So they tell you that these CO2 is warming the planet. They call it global warming because of CO2, right? But actually the CO2 is being consumed by the plants, and the plants are consuming the light. And because they're consuming the light, it actually lowers the temperature of the planet, while they're actually telling you the exact opposite, that CO2 increases the temperature of the planet. So that's why they call CO2 a pollution. And you and I breathe out CO2, and plants eat or
They
take
breathe
in
it in,
CO2.
right?
And now they're already Yeah, so now in New York, they're already fining landlords for you breathing. So like they actually have to pay for CO2 in the building emissions. But actually the CO2 makes the plants grow, and the plants actually lower the temperature of the earth. They know this from the studies now. So that's why I think they stopped saying global warming, because they found out that they were completely wrong. So now they just say climate change, because climate change is very vague. It doesn't mean anything. Like, oh, today's the temperature's changed. Oh my goodness, climate changed. Like, what does it matter? Who cares if the climate change, right? So, but now, so they're trying to use this to actually change things around you and then claim they're saving the planet by doing it. But actually, I don't think they're trying to save anything. I think they're just using it to get things passed that they want to put in place, which is basically you can't own anything. You can't, drive a car. You can't eat anything that you want to eat. You're not going to be able to afford anything. This is what I think they're trying to do. And matter of fact, even in the wildlife national preserves, there's 60, I think it's like 65% less animals. How did that happen? They're just dying off. So you have, and then of course, if you notice when you drive around, you have less bugs on your window than you did back in the 90s and, in the past. The bugs are dying off too. So like, what's going on? Why are the bugs dying off? Why are the animals dying off? Why are they trying to cut down the trees? Why are they trying to darken the sun? And they claim they're saving the planet. It doesn't sound like they're saving the planet to me. It sounds like they're killing the planet. I don't know. What do you think, man?
Yeah, a lot of this stuff, I mean, it's all kind of Agenda 21 stuff,
right.
In,
yeah, 100%.
Yeah, it all gets rolled into that. So the environmentalism stuff, the focus on climate change, the focus on quote unquote overpopulation, so reducing population. So then any of the rainbow stuff that serves to lower the population, right? And then also stuff like the abortion laws and proliferation of abortion that lowers the population. So all of that stuff is, yeah. Is anything that prioritizes hugging trees over people, I always look at that with a very skeptical lens. I'm like,
well, but here's the thing, though. That's how you save the environment, by planting trees before. You remember, and the tree huggers were stopping people from cutting trees down. But now the environmentalists, which are actually run by these guys at the top, are saying cutting trees down and burying them is actually a good idea, and they're actually doing this. So they claim that they're like the tree huggers saving the planet by cutting the trees down, which the tree huggers were literally doing the exact opposite. So they're actually completely changing what it means to save the environment. They used to be plant trees, let the animals thrive, and now it's the exact opposite. Cut trees down, the animals are dying off, get rid of the sun. So how am I wrong when you have the literally changing at 180 from what it used to be to today, right? And I actually I took a class in pollution. It was like a book this thick, and I studied all the laws on EPA and everything. We never talked about CO2 back in the 90s. We never talked about it. Now all of a sudden CO2 is a really bad thing, but then it got debunked by the NASA study. So now they just stopped using the word global warming to push this CO2 thing. Now they just say climate change. And then they just keep going with all of whatever they want to do. So, I mean, saving the planet is cutting all the trees down. Saving the planet is turning the sun off. I mean, it doesn't even make any sense. It's like,
they switched to
it's
talking
like saying
about,
you want to date women, but then you're
right. They switched to talking about like methane and stuff. I noticed that.
Right.
And
methane too. Yeah, that's cows farting. Right.
Right.
It's gonna get rid of the cows. Cows are farting.
Right. Well, cows farting, and then also volcanoes.
It wasn't Gates' jet flying around everywhere, polluting the planet. It was those farting cows. You know what I mean? I mean, seriously, that's what it was.
I gotta say, one of the issues with this is, yes, there is such a thing as climate change. The question is, what is causing it? Is it human beings causing it, or is it just a natural thing that happens to the planet? And how much are we actually contributing to whatever this climate change is? So see, that's the that's actually what the debate is. And yeah.
But they want you to stay there and not realize what they're doing. While you're debating about all this stuff, they're actually doing all this stuff that makes no sense. And it's completely ridiculous. Like, oh, you don't believe in climate change? It doesn't matter if you believe in climate change. What you're doing is literally the opposite of saving the planet. So it doesn't even matter. Like, if I want to save the planet, or if I don't want to save the planet, the fact is, these people are not saving it. They're doing the exact opposite of saving the planet, and they claim they're saving the planet. So they want you to argue about, do you care about the planet, when they're actually literally destroying it? So it doesn't even make any sense, right?
Yeah.
So it's just kind of like, it's like another division thing, like race or whatever topic. They just want you to fight over this while they're doing this other stuff over here and messing everything up. They want you to fight over little things while they mess everything up, or something like that. Kind of the impression I get, but
Now, one thing that I've been talking about, how stuff is getting bad, and I don't know if you know about this, but there's constantly clamoring. We know that these academic institutions and society in general is constantly clamoring about more access for women, more empowerment for women, and no matter what the statistics look like, of course, the wage gap has been soundly and roundly debunked when you account for all of the factors involved. It's negligible, the difference. So we know that's the case. And then also with respect to populations in universities. So 60 Minutes recently did a story comparing, so basically talking about the difference in the populations in schools now, in universities. So it was that there were 13% less females getting undergraduate degrees than males. And this is like in the 70s. So now you fast forward to 2022, and guess what? There's been a 28-point sweep. Now 15% more women getting undergraduate degrees than men. But notice that the propaganda, the talking points have not changed one iota. They're exactly the same. We still need to empower women. We still need to do this. We need to make stuff more accessible for them. It's all this kind of stuff, when actually the issue now is by 2 percentage points, there are fewer men getting degrees than there was in the 70s of women getting degrees, percentage-wise, and nobody even bats an eye. No one says anything. No one acts like it's an issue. And in fact, until very recently, these DEI, the diversity, inclusion, and equity, they have been saying they have not even been aware of how these numbers, how men factor into these numbers. For instance, not long ago, I'm talking maybe a couple years ago, I had conversations with administrators that were in positions where they should have known this information. Deans, presidents, this kind of thing in universities. And I asked them very specific questions about the population of black males in these institutions. They had no knowledge. When I said, did you know that there are 20,000 more I'm sorry, is that right? Yes, 20,000 more black female professors than black male professors at these universities. Did you know that that's the case? No, they didn't know that. Do you know that the population of black students, do you know the demographic breakdown? Do you know that it's like 70% female, 30% male? Do you know this? Oh, no, they don't know this at all. But there's this but now that what they're doing is they're talking like this happened and they just didn't know that it was happening, and they're just, when this has happened over a long period of time and they pushed it to happen that way, and they don't care. They're happy that it happened this way. Yeah. This is why I've described this
No,
empowerment stuff
I
as
think
being
you're
a
right.
supremacist movement, because it's not been about.
Well, I think
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say, man, like I feel like it's a direct, attack on men in a sense because
100%.
when it comes to because when it comes to who's essentially the one who's trying to motivated to get things done, who wants to, support the family. And I think it's sort of a direct attack on family because
Yeah.
if the men can't get the jobs, then they're not going to want to support a family because they don't have any ability to support it anyways. And then if the women are not being sort of the model you would expect for a wife, then why would they want to get married? So if you can't afford anything, you can't get the job, you can't get the wife. Well, why might as well give up, right? That's kind of what it's almost like. It feels like kind of like Lucifer is focused directly on men and doing these things in all these different directions because he knows that that's the greatest thing that's keeping families going and keeping society going and the economy going. That's why you see with a lot of these wars, they'll take the men out and leave the women. I think there's a number of wars where you'll see they'll just kill all the men and keep the women, and
Of course,
and let the
of
women
course,
stay
that's
because
standard.
it doesn't matter.
That is standard operating procedure. When the Vikings
Right.
come, the Vikings kill all the men. Maybe they allow some of the babies to stay around. If they don't kill all the babies, then they take the women as concubines. That's
Right.
standard operating procedure, and that's exactly what you see happening. Look.
Yeah. Yep.
One of these. What was I saying? So women are hypergamous, and this is a good thing. This is a good thing because women need to be able to protect themselves when they're at their most vulnerable, when they have small children, they're nursing, when they're pregnant, right? You need to
Right.
have a guy that is making more money than you'd make, further along in his career, stronger than you, can work for longer hours. All of this stuff. These are things, the basic needs that a woman needs, and through evolutionary biology, this is something that has developed, and it's a natural, and it's a good thing. It's not bad. Okay. Now, the problem is when you're cranking out way more girls with degrees, and you're empowering all the women, and then the women are replacing the guys in these positions that pay enough for them to support a family. Now what you're doing is you're reducing the number of available options for the women. So really the only reason, they started doing these stories and stuff about the boy crisis and the struggle men are having, stuff like this. The only reason that they even are talking about this is because they realize that this has created an issue where the women now, they don't like this. They want guys that are further along in their career and that can provide for them, and they have replaced such a high percentage of the guys. Now you're all screwed up. So really, this whole feminist experiment has been an abysmal failure because women don't like it. Women don't want it.
Well, it's a failure to who, and is it a success to someone else? I think these people at the top,
Right.
I think what they're trying to do is they're part of the GOV, and they see us as their enemy in a sense, and they want to keep us down. So they try to keep us weak and down and divided, all this kind of stuff, so that we can't decide someone else is in power over them and change who's in power. So they want to keep us all down like this. But the problem is that they couldn't do it with the entire world. They screwed up back 2 years ago. Now they don't have banks in every country. The East is separate from the West. So they might be keeping us down in the West, but they're not keeping those down in the East. And the East is still getting more powerful. So now that's why we have all these WARs happening left and right. It's because the West, these guys over the West who are, like I said, basically robbing us. They literally rob us. Back in 1971, they took the dollar off the gold standard. They've been printing money and giving it to their friends, literally. Like if you're making $25 an hour right now, you should be making about $65 an hour. If the dollar was on the gold standard, that's how much money you would be making. Purchase power wise, you would be able to easily afford anything you wanted. So they purposely did that. So you already know they're kind of like scoundrels. They're like money grubbing scoundrels, whoever these people are. So if they're going to do that to you, they're going to do anything and everything to you to try to keep you down. So
Right.
that's what they came up with all this, keep the men down, keep this down, that down. But they couldn't do it to the East. They lost 2 years ago. So now what are they going to do? Maybe World WAR potentially. You see what I'm getting at. So that's a big issue. I think it's a really big issue. And I think we just need to replace these people on the top if we can do it somehow, because they're clearly not, they shouldn't be there because they're just doing everything corrupt and bad. So, but go ahead.
Well, the thing is that the social contract, which in the West in particular has been completely and totally broken, the agreement that men and women have had all these years has been totally obliterated, and it has been the powers that be that have imposed this breakage of the social contract. So it's my estimation that the only way that you're going to reverse this is that the government itself is going to have to create an incentive structure to change the dynamic, because none of the people willingly that have the power now are going to willingly surrender it. So now you have to create a counter incentive structure, just like they created an incentive.
But they run the GOV, man. They're playing their strings on the GOV. So you have to somehow get them out of there so that you have good people in place, that would actually do the right thing. Which I don't know. That's a tricky one.
I just don't see that. I don't see that ever happening. Like how's that going to happen? I mean, I don't know. All right, here we go.
Well, it might take a World WAR. I really hope not. I'm hoping something else does it.
Well, I have been
not
saying,
that.
Look, man, I've been doom and gloom. I have been saying it's either
I'm a little
some...
positive. I know you're doom and gloom, so I'm positive you're doom and gloom. All right, let's do it.
That's right. I've been saying it's going to be some kind of cataclysmic, freaking nuclear holocaust wasteland.
I really hope
then you
not,
have no issues.
No one's recovering.
The thing is that under that scenario, nobody has, nobody has anything. So you're going to just restore the natural order. No technology, none of this other stuff that allows women to basically bypass men, being with a guy to protect her from basically death.
But it's some dude at the top. It's some dude at the top playing these games, trying to mess it all up, and he thinks it's. I mean, just think of like someone, what is it? A narcissist, someone with a really bad personality and has a lot of power and money, and they want to stay there, and they don't want you as a competition to them. So they see all men as competition, and they're like, I don't want, just give all the power to the women, and I'll be at the top, and they won't even know. They're faceless, right? And it could be a girl too, I guess, theoretically. I don't think so, but it's probably actually the devil. It's probably the devil at the top, doing all this stuff. But
God of this world. but anyhow, so either something cataclysmic like that, where now it's just like the naked truth, and so you don't have any of this artificial stuff to like protect people against reality, or the second coming of Christ. I don't see what else. I don't see what other options there are, because I don't see a scenario where people just decide to do right. They all of a sudden they just decide, hey, let's just do right now.
Well, I have one, and that is you have a bunch of organizations that are not necessarily good organizations, but they're like, either we keep following these crazy people at the top, or we have World War III. Or no, we follow them and we end up in World War III, or we just get rid of these guys. And that's the only thing I can think of otherwise. So maybe they'll just stop them before that happens. But I don't know. Who knows? So
okay. So let's take a look at this video here, and this is kind of still on that Pound Town Sexy Red thing, but this particular teacher that's depicted here, the one that they're reviewing. She went viral because she got on here and she got actually quite emotional about how bad it is for her, a dance teacher, to teach 5-year-old little girls, and the kind of disrespect that she's dealing with, and the kind of them requesting songs like Pound Town, for them to dance to and stuff like this. So let's take a listen to this. And they have some of their thoughts too. I don't know how much I'm going to play of that, but here we go.
I'm calling out all the parents. If you're a parent and your child is in pre-K to elementary school to high school, I'm calling you out. Having to teach and work with you guys as children has been the most traumatic experience of my life. They don't respect any authority. You ask them, can you stand in your designated spot? They're telling you no and shut up. I told a young little girl, please sit in your spot. You're not my mom. You don't tell me what to do. Okay. When her mom came to pick her up, I said, hey, your daughter's having a hard time following instructions. And 7 times today, I've had to redirect her to just sit in her spot. Well, clearly she didn't want to sit. And mind you, this is a mom. Clearly she didn't want to fucking sit right there. So, I mean, if she's telling you she don't want to do something, why keep asking her to do it? You know she's not going to do it. Your 5-year-old daughters are asking to listen to Pound Town and Ski Yee.
As a mom of 2 little boys, I don't have girls, I have boys. This is concerning. I know that our generation, we're millennials, our generation grew up with this kind of fear of our parents. Like, I'm going to act like I have some sense and behave myself because I'm afraid of how my mom, my dad, my auntie, uncle, grandma, whoever is going to react. I'm afraid of what they're going to do to me. And I think our generation and the generations coming after us have in some ways tried to break that, and it is becoming a detriment to our children. I don't think our children should fear us, but there has to be a level of respect and consideration for those older and those in a more quote unquote authoritative position. There is a way for a child to address issues or to address what they don't necessarily want to do without being disrespectful, while also understanding that just because you don't want to do this does not mean that you are not going to do this. If we're in a class and it calls for you to sit still at this moment, then that is what you have to do, whether you like it or not. I follow some groups and I read the comments and I look at the posts, and a lot of parents have taken gentle parenting and it has become permissive parenting, where they think that they're gentle parenting. They're not. Gentle parenting still has consequences. It still has actions and reactions. And there's still boundaries that have to be followed. Whereas permissive parenting is more of basically allowing the child to do, they're almost raising themselves. They do what they want to do, basically. And for all of y'all out here letting these kids, I ain't never even heard Pound Town, and I'm a whole grown adult. Just the name alone, that's inappropriate. Why would your child be listening to that? I don't understand. And I know my kids are sheltered, but my kids hear one curse word in a song and they're like, Mom, we can't listen to this. This is inappropriate. Their words, not mine. But in that same token, my child can come to me and say, hey, I don't like the way you said this to me, or I don't want to do this right now. And we can have a conversation about it.
Respectfully.
Right. Like there's a fine line that we have to walk. And I think we've taken that saying that our parents, I'm not your little friend, to now we're like, okay, I'm going to be my kid's friend.
Just a little bit.
But it's a little bit. But now you so much their friend that there's disrespect in there. They don't see you as the hierarchy. They're not acknowledged.
Okay, so what do you think about what she's saying? Like, just this whole sort of transition from parents being really strict and there's like a reverence and stuff of your parents, to now where it's like the parents are trying to be their kids' friends, and devolving all the way into this 5-year-old girls asking to hear Pound Town and being disrespectful to their dance teacher.
Well, I mean, for one, I think like you were saying earlier, a lot of this music is really influencing people. And Sexy Red is not exactly someone that tells you to respect your elders or respect anybody, from what I understand. Right. She's the exact opposite of that. And then maybe the parents are the same way, like they don't want to respect anybody. Like, oh, I'm the thing. I don't even respect the teacher. I don't respect anything. You know what I mean? So maybe they're like just learning it from their parents. Their parents are learning it from bad sources because they grew up with this music too, in some respects. Maybe some of these parents did. You know what I mean? They had some, like we were saying, when we were younger, you had that crisscross, and then it seemed like certain people who own these rap, R&B rap sort of album, what do you call it? Labels. They seem to want to push it a certain direction, which was clearly not good for society, right? And it just those type of ideas where lack of morals or lack of ethics or lack of whatever you want to call it, just seem to kind of get into people's minds, and it's becoming worse and worse. That's just kind of my thoughts, but I don't know.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's on purpose, because like you saw that one, you saw the one interview, what channel is that? I forgot the guy's name. He's here on YouTube, but he said there was a meeting a long time ago, back when they were doing early days of rap music, where they decided they were going to just focus more on the bad elements of rap and not the good type of rap, like get rid of Queen Latifah, get rid of that kind of rap back in the old days, and focus on this really, drugs and all this other type of stuff.
Yeah,
right?
the gangster rap and
it was
and the
and
sort of
it's
thought
not
rap.
Right. And they basically pushed that. They pushed it. So it wasn't even the people wanting it. It was more like pushed onto society more so. And it was the only thing available. It's like when you go to a court case and you only hear one side of the court case, you don't hear the other side of the court case. You already got your mind kind of slanted that direction. It's like they decided not to let you hear the other side and only just give you garbage. It's like the only food you got is garbage. They don't let you have any decent food or decent music or anything like that. Just give you garbage. And it's kind of like that with the food industry as well. I mean, in America, they put out candy and garbage food all the time. And that's probably why we're overweight and stuff too, as well. You know what I mean? So it's like everywhere they try to push garbage, this, garbage, that, garbage, family ideals, garbage, this, garbage music. And because there's no other side available and they don't allow other people to speak or let other people have their music heard or their ideas heard, because they're trying to push it down. That's why society's the way it is. Right.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah. Gregory Scotland in the chat is making this point. There was a move away from Public Enemy and BDP to NWA, right? The gangster rap and all like that. And then even much worse than that, because even with even much worse than that, because what like Sexy Red and folks like Sukihana and and these types, Glorilla and those types, that stuff is just like straight thought rap, just straight, just talk about the most disgusting, inappropriate, profane kind of topics, sexually explicit, and then that all of that stuff is directly being promoted to the girls. Because
and that lady wants to teach him dance ethics, like civilized dance. Right. And I'm sure your wife does that stuff, right? Doesn't she teach dance or something?
Yeah.
But I mean, like, I don't know the right words. I don't know the right words here, but like, she probably wants to teach him some good music, maybe even some classical music to dance to. I don't know what she wants to show him. You know what I mean? Right. I'm sure it's not Little or Sexy Red or whatever her name is.
Right. She ain't having right. Yeah, she ain't having them dance to Ski Yee and all that. All right, let's listen a little bit more of this, and then I got something else.
That hierarchy, and it exists whether you want it to or not, because they're children and they don't know what they don't know. They don't know what they need. They don't know how to navigate this world, and if we don't prepare them appropriately, they're gonna fail.
Yeah, I think one of the main problems here is these are culture babies. And what I mean by that is the parents that are raising the kids have been raised by this backwards culture that we have. and they're raising their kids based off of the raising that they had. I look at this almost similarly to like a deadbeat dad in these scenarios, because she's talking about how the moms are raising the daughters. You have a situation with a deadbeat dad. He's not in the child's life physically, right? Now, in this situation, which isn't necessarily one-to-one, the mom is there physically, but mentally is bankrupt. Just mentally bankrupt. And
yeah, her head is full of sexy red lyrics. You know.
Yeah, not the best stuff in the world.
Yeah. So anyhow, okay. So that's enough of this. You have something else you want to show us?
I don't know. We were doing pretty good with that stuff. I'm not sure what. Well, you know what's kind of weird? I want to show you this real quick, I guess. What's really interesting is like this has to do with kind of the whole environment thing. Like, there's this lady in an airplane. She's like a wealthy, I think she's an actress, and she's flying over an area in the Amazon, and she's like crying, looking at this, like, oh my goodness, they're deforesting the Amazon. And in reality, what's going on is these tribes of people are trying to grow crops, and these cities or towns or whatever they're called are trying to grow crops in this area. And of course, some of the trees are getting cut down to grow crops, which obviously crops breathe CO2 as well. It's not like you're cutting down trees and building buildings like in New York City or something. It's still plant life. And she's so clueless. It gave me this image, this rich actress flying overhead, not even landing. She's not even going to land and walk around the Amazon. She doesn't care. You know what I mean? Don't want to get my shoes dirty. But then she's crying, oh my goodness, the trees are getting cut down. Like she's like so clueless. You know what I mean? There's so many people like this that just follow social media, just listen to whatever they're told on their phone or in their music, as we've been talking about. And they can't even think for themselves. Like, farms are good. We just had Mr. Beast, who's the top YouTuber, 200 million subscribers or whatever it is. He went to Africa and dug 100 wells. You heard about this, right?
Yeah.
And like, he's getting condemned by people for doing this. And I'm like, why isn't some of these rich people that claim to help everybody, these philanthropists, or however you say the word, like Billy Boy, the computer guy, Gates, he claims to care for people, but he's never done any of this stuff. Why is it none of these billionaires even care enough to go and do something? Why do none of these GOVs, these governments, do any of this stuff? It takes a YouTuber who's not even well, he's probably a millionaire, but he's not a billionaire, obviously. A YouTuber has to go build 100 wells in Africa just so people can have some drinking water, and no one else cares enough to do anything. They're too busy trying to keep us all divided and fighting over dumb stuff so they can keep their power and money. So that but see that what it is it causes these people that believe in the government to be like, no, the government cares, when they don't. You have a YouTuber going and digging wells in Africa. No one else cares. You know what I mean? It's just like that. They can't face this reality that there's no one who cares. And they just assume the government's there for your benefits, and these billionaires care about you. Jeff Bezos cares about you when he doesn't care.
No, the government is a leech. The government literally is a leech.
Yeah,
it only has money that it takes from you. It only has resources and assets that it takes from you.
It's just amazing. Like, why did it take a YouTuber to do that? I mean, why isn't anybody else really doing it? I mean, there are some ministries. I've heard of some ministries doing that stuff, but they say they can't raise enough money. It's just so much irony to it. It's just so much irony. But I don't know.
Here, so let me
acknowledge
this super chat by Gregory Scotland. Big $20 super chat. Thank you very much. And he says, Dr. Thunder, as this chaos continues, we will see more and more discipline and ethical disciplined and ethical men will separate from these low-level females, we will have to create a different society. I'm 100%.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
You don't have it. Oh, here's the comment right here. As soon as it shows up, I'm gonna, right here. Here's the comment. Politics. And I don't know if you understand exactly what he means. He's talking about when he says, yeah.
Well, maybe I do. I understand what the word's trying to say. It's 2 words, but I get it. But what are you saying more than that, or?
Well, no, I think what he's saying by politics, and he's
Oh,
talking
pics.
about
Yeah.
well, he's talking about right. He's talking about ticks sucking the life force, right?
yeah, exactly.
Right.
Well,
okay.
the word government means govern the mind, governmental. It means control the mind. Literally, that's what government means. It's just kind of funny if you look into these words. Like the word mortgage means death pledge. You're literally paying until you're dead. It's just funny when you look into these words what they mean. Pretty accurate too, you know.
So I'm gonna put this. I'm gonna play this, and then I've got one more after this one too. But
oh my goodness.
So one thing that the sort of powers that be, and they're doing this through the Sexy Reds and the Glorrillas and the the thought raps, the thought rap and all of the just debaucherous stuff, and this sort of sexual liberation, trying to present it as if men and women are the same. All of this kind of stuff. But part of what they do is, part of this sort of propaganda is to try to convince that body count doesn't matter, right? So that the number of people that you've slept with is not an issue, right? And in particular, selling this to women. Your body count doesn't matter. And then teaching people that they're wrong and they're misogynist if they judge a woman based on how many sexual partners she's had, right? And when I say judge in that way, I mean, should I be serious about her? Should I consider her for a wife? I just asked her this question about her body count, and she told me she's got 575 bodies, and I'm thinking that might not be a good number for me to consider that for her for a wife, because I don't know if I'm gonna. So what they're trying to tell you,
folks, like 1,000 years?
No. But what they're trying to tell you is that you're wrong for judging that way. So that's as the backdrop. So let's take a look at this and see what they're talking about.
I thought that was men that did that. It's women now doing that.
No. Men would never. Men wouldn't lie about how many bodies. What purpose?
No, I'm just saying that's how they've always presented it. They always presented it like it's the men that do this, No. But back in the old days, it would always be like guys are the ones who are always, like the rock star. He's going around sleeping with all the women. You know what I mean? That kind of thing.
Yeah. I mean, the dynamic has changed though, right? Because now we know that disproportionately, it's the women that have more bodies than the men, because they've done these studies that show that men under a certain age and for long periods of time have no access to a sexual partner and or have been are virgins, and there's way more male virgins than there are female virgins once you get to a certain age now. So there's basically like the 20-something up to 30-something women. They have way more. They have way more partners and are having way more sex than the guys that are that same age.
And I think this is all on purpose to break and destroy the family structure, because the whole idea was that you would have young love, like a man and a woman would meet each other and kind of court, eventually get married. But and of course the guy wants her to be the first and wants her to be the first. But now instead of it being the woman, back in the old days, the virginity of the woman was super important. You could see it all throughout ancient history. And the men, it didn't even matter so much because they would actually have more than one wife. But today it's the exact opposite. Now the men matter, but the women don't. Is how they're trying to put it. But in reality, it's the woman that has the kid, and not the guy. That's why you would have one guy with more than one woman, not multiple men with one woman. Because, you know what I mean? So it's just kind of interesting how it's completely flipped, and it's purposeful. I think it's the devil trying to destroy the family, destroy young love. Love between two people when they're younger. They want you to wait until you're 40 to get married. Woman's got to have a career and everything. She's got to sow her wild oats. But it used to be the men that sowed the wild oats. Now it's all the women sowing the wild oats. Apparently, you know what I mean? Like we used to say it was the men, but it's not.
Right, and they're telling you that you're wrong for asking them what their body count is. I mean, you have some of these street interviews now where the interviewer is just asking, do you think body count matters? And the girls are getting like offended. Like, how dare you? Like even ask that question. If a guy asks me that question, then I'm not the girl for him. And stuff like this. And it's like, dude, I mean, I'll tell you right now, before look, any girl that I've ever been serious about, I have asked that question to. I asked my wife that question. Okay. That's part of the vetting process. That's a standard operating procedure. And frankly, if you don't ask that question, it means that you're not serious about the girl. It means that you're just plan to just be casual, right? If you're having a one-night stand with the chick, you don't care how many bodies she's had, right? But if you're trying to build a family, yeah, you probably care about that, and you should probably ask that question. But now that has been turned on, and most unholy alliances occurred with a lot of these sort of mega pop churches, pop Christian churches, where they are basically telling the guys that they're supposed to just forgive them for all their past, transgressions, and act as if, hey, they changed. You should not still be judging them for this and that. And it's like, I'm sorry.
So they changed overnight. It's kind of like the prison guy. The guy that's in prison, he gets saved so he can get out of prison. How many of those dudes are really saved? They're just trying to get out of. Is it just a little ruse to try to get a guy in the church? Oh, I'm gonna need to get married now because my OnlyFans has run out, and I've already had all my men, and now I want to get married. I got to settle down now. Let me put on the church clothes and get into the church and see if I can get a guy and pretend like I'm, getting on track with God and all this kind of stuff. Still listening to Sexy Red though,
Right. Right.
I mean, like that video you showed in the beginning with the woman singing. Oh my goodness.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
Dude, man. Okay, so let me show. So this is the last one I have. Now, this is part of this sort of social reengineering, normalizing debauchery and evil, and legitimizing stuff that is just totally just inappropriate. It's totally ridiculous. Like, what the heck is wrong with you? Like, why would you even legitimize this? Now, check this out.
Man steps out for his first walk in public after spending $20,000 to transform himself into a dog. If there was ever a time where I wished I was joking about a video, it would be this.
Bobby, thank you. Be careful. Are you good? Oh, there is another little doggy. He's scared. He's scared because you're much bigger. Oh,
A Japanese man by the name of Toku recently spent a staggering $20,000 to transform himself into a border collie. So this man identified as a dog and decided he can't just identify as one, he needs to look like one. And y'all still think this type of stuff is normal? This is not normal. Next, he's going to want a female companion that's also a dog. And when it gets to that point, it's now reached a stage of bestiality. Do y'all realize they try to reward mental illness nowadays? They're weaponizing stupidity and ignorance. I don't know if you guys have realized this. Don't step into that dark place. Seek Christ, find the light of God, because only that will save you spiritually. This is a spiritual war, and many people get caught up in it because they don't know how to overcome it. And the only way to overcome it is understanding what it is. It's a spiritual war, and we fight that war with the Word of God. The Word of God is Christ Jesus. So while many people are falling in that dark loop, come out with the Lord. The Lord is saying, come out. The Lord is saying, come home. God bless.
Now, some of the stuff at the end, he's got his reason for doing his channel, and I happen to believe that so he's claiming that the solution is just to come to God like this, and come out of this like this. But what I notice is that these cats, they don't give a process, right? They're not actually telling you what it is that you're going to have to do, to the extent by which you're going to have to be willing to endure hardship, to reprogram yourself, to get yourself to a different place, because you've done all this damage to yourself. You programmed yourself a certain way. You have been behaving a certain way for a long time. This stuff is not going to just go away. You screwed yourself up, so you can't just expect that this is going to be a step to Jesus type of process. This is probably going to be a step to Jesus, but then now you're going to have all these residual effects of all of this terrible stuff that you did to yourself, and you're going to have to work to get yourself even back to ground zero. It's and also, I think a downside of overly simplifying what the solution to this problem is, or for the solution for somebody that is dealing with whatever, by oversimplifying it, what it does is when people start to struggle as they're trying to improve themselves, they're trying to get on the right path. When they start struggling hard, they think that something's wrong. Why am I struggling so hard? Why is this so hard to do? Well, it's so hard to do because you screwed yourself up so bad. And you've been listening to the wrong stuff for so long. That stuff has, dare I say, potentially permanent ramifications. And actually I would just call it permanent, at least on this side of reality. So
that guy, he bought some sort of costume, right? But I don't know what's going on with his back legs. I don't know what's going on there, if he just like ties him up or something, or what.
No, it's not just look, man, it's not just a costume. He actually cosmetically changed aspects of himself.
Oh, okay. Because I was thinking it's kind of weird, his back legs, or how would he do that? So
Yeah,
that's really
I don't know what that's about.
I think it's a lot of this escapism. People are just living on the internet, and they get in their little cubbyhole of strangeness. And then, of course, are those, I would say, of course, power, are pushing all this just weird stuff to keep people preoccupied with, just staying a child, like, never growing up, never really taking responsibility for anything, not getting out in the real world. You're busy pretending to be a dog. You're busy playing video games and not thinking about real life. You're still in your parents' basement, not getting out of there. You're still, what I mean? Like that stuff can get to you as well. And I feel like it's sort of it's also like they made it more difficult for men too. They made it much more difficult. Now, if you get a job, you can hardly afford anything. And that was actually something I was going to show. There's a thing that came out.
Okay,
Half
here
of
I'm
middle-class
switching.
American workers make less than 40,000. So this, I'm not trying to get into a bunch of business stuff here, but I just wanted to point this out. Uh, half of all American workers make less than 40,000 basically a year. My dad told me back in the 90s he's making 40,000 a year. And basically wages have been flatlined for like 30, 40 years. And
Right.
inflation just keeps going up. So like people can't afford anything. So you need to start a family, you need to be able to afford something. To find a woman, you need to have women that are actually men that are actually good to marry and are actually marriage material. So like they make it much more difficult to find a good woman. They make it much more difficult to make money to pay bills. So a lot of people just escape from this reality. This reality is crazy. I'm just going to play video games. I'm just going to become a dog or whatever they're doing, man, to escape
Right.
reality. You know what I mean? And of course, the way society's set up, it's like, yeah, go, man, be whatever you want. You can be a dog. You can do whatever. It's like completely ridiculous, you know. And you can see society's falling apart. People have to get married and have kids to actually sustain a population.
Yep.
That's probably why they want to use robots to replace you. They're trying to get robots now to replace you, man. They literally don't want you around. And they're like enabling you to go away, if you understand what I mean. They want you gone.
Yep.
They want robots. And it's because you have people over us that really are crazy. I mean, narcissistic, whatever you want to call it. They don't care, man. They're just all about money and power. So our society really needs a resurrection, man. Whatever you want to call it, a change of some sort. Maybe
A
resurrection ain't
huge
the right
change,
word.
man. This stuff is so terrible.
Yeah, it's really bad. So our society is really, it's like the fall of the Roman Empire bad. You know what I mean? It's like getting to that point, or it's actually probably past that point at this point.
Yeah, I
But
mean,
yeah, Roman.
look, I don't think that they were identifying as dogs in the Roman Empire, at least.
But you know what? It's really weird. At the end of the communist Russian Empire, they were starting to get weird like this. At the end of the Roman Empire, it was getting weird like this. It just people didn't know. They were just questioning normal stuff. It's like every time a society's starting to end, it gets like this, you know. And the question is, what's going to be next, you know? So hopefully something better. Hopefully something better, man. Yeah. So at any rate, we've been going for a while though. What is this? Already 12:10, man.
Yeah. So yeah, I got through all of my my clips or whatever. Yeah. So yeah, folks, thanks for coming through. And like, share, comment, subscribe, become a channel member where you'll get access to all archive videos, support independent media, super chats enabled, super thanks for the Replay Gang, Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, Dr. Thunder Music, all one word, spell out the word doctor. If you'd like to buy me a sandwich, hit the Cash App, Sandwich Gang. And we've had another great episode of Two Dads React. And make sure you go over to Tony's channels. They're all tagged in the title of this video. So be sure that you do that and support all the stuff that he's doing over there. So thanks very much. Y'all be well. And that's our time. Peace.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Bye.